First speaker that I would like to present is Marina Urbina from CEA. She will present her talk from Battery 2030 initiative, and the title of the talk is Battery 2030, an overview of large-scale research innovation for future battery technologies. But before Marina will start her speech, I would like to briefly present her experience. So Marina is industrial partnership manager at CEA. During the last 13 years, she was a European program manager at CEA, participating and coordinating in different research innovation projects on batteries, hydrogen, advanced materials, renewables, energy, circular material. Since 2024, she is CEA representative at BEPA Executive Board. Marina holds PhD in chemistry, graduated at the University Autónoma of Madrid in 1999. She was beneficiary of postdoc Marie Curie European grant. Her focus then, her research then was focused on the study of luminescent materials and analysis of rare earths of phosphorus materials and synthesis of phosphorus materials. Later she worked on technology transfer officing with the University of Carlos III of Madrid, where she led technology watch-up and supporting activity in the region. She was also involved as French national contact point for team of NMBP, if I'm not wrong, was materials, and she was member of executive board of Nano Futures Association and chairwoman and its research and technology working program. And nowadays she's a very active member of BEPA Work Group 3, Advanced Materials, and Work Group 4, Cell Design and Manufacturing, and belongs to the core group of Battery 2030 initiative. And today, Marina will explain us a little bit the vision of Battery 2030 initiative on new chemistries and including solid-state batteries. So the floor is yours. Please, whenever you want, share your screen.
Thank you so much, Andriy. It's really a pleasure to be here with you in this summer school, SOLVE, especially because, well, summer school means young people, young scientists, the future, and Battery 2030 Plus is launching the battery of the future. Is a long-term initiative of more than 10 years working on the battery of the future, the European battery of the future. So I don't know if you can see my screen. Yes, so it's but it's the good screen because I have several screens, so I don't know, it's a good one, I hope so. So it's Battery 2030 Plus, this overview. So, well, thanks also, Andrew, for the introduction of what is my work. So I work at CEA Lithium, but most particularly in the electricity and hydrogen for transport department that is focusing on battery technologies and hydrogen technologies. So let's continue with the presentation, and let me see if I can. Okay, so this is our vision, the battery of the future, as I mentioned. And Battery 2030 Plus is an initiative that has been launched roughly in 2018. And the vision is this invention of the batteries of the future, but to provide the industry technology that is disruptive, but it's competitive all along the value chain, and that will enable Europe to take the leadership of battery science and technology. So this is a very nice words and very enthusiastic, but we all know what is going on right now. So we've started, as I mentioned, roughly in 2018, but we have to continue this endeavor. Battery 2030 Plus as project, because it's a coordination support action, is going to finish very soon. By the end of August, but this is not the end. So we will keep on working with another CSA that you will see by the end of my presentation. So Battery 2030 Plus is encompassed in a in a landscape, in an ecosystem. And this is thanks to the partnership, to the Bat4U partnership. As you mentioned, Andrew, Solve is one of the projects that has been funded by this Bat4U partnership. So Horizon Europe has enabled, thanks to the funding, to launch these kind of projects. So Batteries Europe, Battery 2030 Plus is one of them, but as I mentioned, is a large ecosystem encompassing Batteries Europe, IPCEA projects, and also the association BEPA. So I will introduce you briefly this ecosystem, this landscape. Is quite complicated. I will go into details, but not much, because maybe it's not what is what you are expecting. But I think it's important to understand the origin and the history of all of this. So this landscape of batteries in Europe for research and innovation is based on a pillar of research and education. Is very important. For that reason, this kind of event and organization of this summer school. A policy, because we need funding, we need a structure, an ecosystem, but also organization to support all this, and business, because we need money, not only by funding, but also extending to the industrial scale. So considering this, the first starting point, let's say, is the European Battery Alliance. So this was launched roughly in October 2017 by the European Commission. Was Vice President Maros Sefcovic who launched this. And the goal, the purpose was to ensure that all Europeans will benefit from cleaner vehicles, more sustainable technology and solutions. And for these, the vision was to create a competitive and sustainable battery cell manufacturing value chain in Europe. So the development program of this European Battery Alliance is what is called European Battery Alliance 2250 Academy. So it was driven by EIT in Ino Energy, now it's called Ino. But this EBA 250 brings together many stakeholders, more than 800 European and non-European stakeholders that are representing the whole battery value chain. It provides overview about the legislation, the directives that are related to batteries, but also considering investment, business. So this business investment platform is also strictly linked to the European Battery Alliance. So EIT Ino Energy, that was the leader of this ABA 2250, is providing, also is designing together with financial institutions, private and public, different tools and actions to accelerate this development of the ecosystem, as I mentioned, back in 2017. So this has launched more than 40 actions, including R&I actions, that enable to set this European Battery Alliance, capturing the need of the market, but also what can be done to expand this market. So we have started with these 3 pillars and with a starting point. And then if we continue with the policy pillar, we could see European Commission, that was the launcher of European Battery Alliance. And something that is very important is the strategic action plan on batteries that was launched by then, roughly in back in the 2018, launching also larger scale and long-term research programs, as Horizon Europe programs to enable this ecosystem of batteries, complementing all the action of European Battery Alliance. So continuing with this, to support this value chain of batteries and the setup of this ecosystem, the European Commission, as I mentioned, decided to launch this strategic action plan. And one of the potential outcomes was Batteries Europe, another CSA, another initiative that was originally launched as a platform, a European technology and innovation platform. And this enabled to create this strategic agenda because, well, this CSA worked on the KPI targets, on roadmaps beyond the community, but also bringing together research experts, industry experts. So it was even larger. And working very tightly with the set plan, the Action 7, that is batteries, also working closely with BEPA. So this roughly was in 2019, Batteries Europe. And then in 2017-18, Battery 2030 as 30 plus as initiative was launched, considering the innovation needs. So this is more related to industrial needs, and this is more low TRL research innovation needs. So as you can see, the ecosystem is getting formed, is getting created from the European Battery Alliance. And Battery 2030 Plus is a long-term initiative, but mostly focused on disruptive technologies, low TRL technologies. So it concentrates in roughly low TRL from 1 to 3 and complements short-term initiatives that were launched by the EBA, but also long-term initiatives. Also complementing with Horizon Europe program. So the focus, you will see later, that enables several focus, for instance, digital technologies, longer lasting batteries, etc. And this initiative is part of this ecosystem, is a very important part. So if we continue with this scheme, quite important asset is the IPCEI, so important project of common European interest. So it's on the business pillar. So that means that is stated transnational projects with a contribution of industry partners, industry leaders, because what the focus is to contribute to the growth, the employment, and the competitiveness of the European industry. So this IPCEI strategy is mainly led by two IPCEIs. One is focused on batteries, and the second is more focused on battery innovation. So the first one is led by France, the second one is led by Germany. But to understand this kind of initiative, what they want is to bring together private and public sector to develop larger scale projects that will benefit to the European Union, but also the citizens, of course. So very, very big companies from the different member states are working together to develop new technologies also for the entire value chain with the goal of industrial deployment. To provide more information about this IPCEI that are running from roughly 2019, the member states provide roughly 6 billion euros on funding. And in addition, more than 40 billion euros are private investment that have been made available. So another important asset is the Leap Planet project. This is a network of pilot lines in Europe. Initially encompassed 12 facilities, but is always ever growing. And then, as mentioned, But4U partnership and BEPA, that is association, the voice of RNI private part, because But4U, since it's a co-program partnership, has a private part that is BEPA and its members, and a public part that is the European Commission, and that they started launching these But4U calls in 2021. Together with Battery Europe, but also with Battery 2030 Plus in its roadmaps, and thanks to their research and strategic agendas, But4U could have these topics that contained the KPIs depicted by Batteries Europe, and also important RNI topics of Battery 2030 Plus. So as you can see, everything is connected, and this is what European Commission wanted when this European Battery Alliance was launched, to create this structure of ecosystem. So if you go more into detail of this Battery 2030 Plus, but not too much, because I don't want to bother you with all this work package and description of activities. But what we want is to develop and to maintain a roadmap that is one of our major outcomes, to provide common best practice in battery research, to advance in the European curricula for future battery technologies. So thanks to you guys, the young students, the young researchers and the young battery scientists. And all of this is absolutely supported by the coordination, the implementation of the roadmap, and also for dissemination activities as this one, and the stakeholders engagement. So these are the leaders of the work packages, but what I wanted to mention as well is, since this Battery 2030 Plus is a long-term initiative, but is devoted also to short-term and medium-term objectives. So at short-term is to develop theoretical and experimental platforms and tools, and the medium-term integration on the different parts, and in the long-term is the materials acceleration platform that you will probably know with the project Big Map, but also focusing on smart battery functionalities. So materials accelerated platform that now has been taken by another project, Full Map project. So the research areas where Battery 2030 Plus is focusing is accelerated materials discovery, battery functionality, battery interfaces, manufacturability, raw materials, and recycling. So these are these main areas. And as a larger scale research initiative, Battery 2030 Plus is even a family, because what we are also doing is being the umbrella of several But4U low TRL and disruptive projects regarding these main activities and main areas. So battery functionality, maybe some of you present here are working on these projects that you can see depicted here. Battery interface, accelerated material discovery, Full Map, that is the continuation or the handover of Big Map. Manufacturability and raw materials and recycling that are really important for Europe, and all considering what we have mentioned as in the objectives to reach fair data and standards, communication, curricula with the young scientists, the roadmap, and the coordination and monitoring of all the KPIs and all the results of these low TRL projects. So this initiative is the heritage also of previous Battery 2030 plus projects, because, well, since as I mentioned, it started 10 years ago and is in continuation of these previous projects. So this is those that are already mentioned. And maybe we can have a look to the core group, because they are like 13, 14 members of Battery 2030 Plus. Is coordinated by Uppsala University. And then you can see the tech. You can see CEA and Battery, to mention another Spanish partner, ENEA in Italy, Jülich, Helmut Institute, Politecnico di Torino, Fraunhofer, CNRS, Warsaw University, KIT, Chemistry Institute of Slovenia. Associations are EMIRI, and partners as VDI, VDE, very linked to industry. Then SINTEF, DTU in Denmark, another association as Recharge, or Association of EASE, or EMPA, and BEPA. And it is also supported by organizations as the ones that you can see here, because since what we want is to cover the whole value chain and have a long-term reach, this is vital. As already evoked, one of the outcomes, and maybe the stronger and the major outcome, is the roadmap. So this roadmap that has been built during several years and has several versions. The last one has just been launched last May. Is what will enable to, if we implement it, of course, to hold the leadership in battery technologies to Europe in demanding markets, considering also end user expectations, because thanks to what has been mentioned, this of supporting organization, but also the core groups linked with the industry needs. So our focus of this long-term roadmap is to reinvent the way that we will invent the batteries that are ultra high, ultra performance for the future. Also accelerating the finding of new materials and the new battery concepts for the battery design, to include smart functionalities to the battery cells, and always have in mind manufacturability, because if we cannot manufacture cells, we won't go very long on this European leadership. And also considering recyclability, that is very important, because, well, one of the major drawbacks could be, for instance, the great amount of scraps, and if we don't manage to recycle them, we cannot reach this major goal. So the director of Battery 2030 Plus until last year was Professor Christina Edström from Uppsala University. But last year, Christina Edström had to leave the initiative, and then Professor Patrick Johansson was replacing. But Christina is still very active, and really our pillar, and like our mother, as I said, that this was a family. Another outcome, very important, and that we can share this with you, and I think it will be very helpful for you, young scientists, to reach for the webinars and the workshops, that are on the web page. So have been many webinars and many workshops organized in these past years about lithium-ion cells production, for instance, in collaboration with the Planet. You can see here all the webinars or part of the webinars that you could get access into this web page. For instance, something that was really a good outcome was this organization of the Young Scientist Hackathon last year. So I really encourage you and invite you to go to see these webinars. And also something that is really remarkable is the excellent seminars. So you have all the presentations here, and well, I cannot mention just one of them. We can see here Laurence Crognac, Sandrine Léonard, Alessandro Franco, Rosa Palacin, Max Fichtner, well, Christina Enström, of course, Tex Wej, Montse Casas, and Robert Domingo, and many others. So these excellent seminars, I think, will be a strong support for you, and if you're a young student, and they will provide you many insights. For instance, I think the one of Montse Casas was about solid state, so it will be really interesting. So this, as I mentioned, see, this is a community and a landscape. We are engaging and giving back to the community. So we have arranged this Young Scientist Manifesto with the support of some of you young students. So you can also have a look to the webpage Battery 2030 Plus, and together with the roadmap that is really a super outcome, you can see also this Young Scientist Manifesto. There have been many annual conferences since the beginning, but I just will mention the last 5. The last one that was the closing of Battery 2030 Plus was in Italy, in Torino. So well, you can also have a look to some of the insights and results of these conferences, with excellent participation of presenters. So this is just a special issue that was released in the last months in Chemistry Europe. So you can also have a look to this. Of this battery research in Europe special issue that was edited by Christina Enström, Montse, Maximilian Gwen from Fraunhofer, my colleague Olivier Racour from CEA, but also Tesh from DTU. And well, this is how we are engaging through the associations and also through the projects with the community. So you can see here all our engagement and or supportive stakeholders. And in summary, what I can say is that Battery 2030 Plus, even if it's going to finish very soon, has a strong legacy, and it's consisting of a long-term vision where the battery research needs in Europe to create a smarter, ultra-high performance, but also safer, reliable, and long-lasting, and very important, affordable and more sustainable batteries will be launched. That what we want is to invent the batteries of the future in order to provide to Europe with a full value chain of disruptive technologies for batteries. And this integrated on the European battery landscape, complementing short-term but also long-term and medium-term initiatives to create this long-term roadmap. And that this, as I said, is not finished here. And what is next is a BAT Bridge project that has been launched a few months ago, as the continuation of the legacy of Battery 2030 Plus, focusing also in Batteries Europe and IPCEIs that is developed containing or encompassing 16 partners, also with affiliated partners as BEPA and the GRC. And we have a representation of universities, RTO, and innovation actors, because since it's a legacy of Batteries Europe, has to have a slightly more industrial perspective. And that thanks to GRC and BEPA, we are considering a strategy and policy as also major inputs. So that's all by now. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I will be glad to answer a question if you want, or just have a look, as I said, to this Battery 2030 Plus link, because you can have a lot of information that will be very useful for your thesis, postdoc, etc. In general, your career. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marina, for this excellent talk and very informative. I think you put a lot of links, a lot of information that, I mean, due to time frame today, we cannot show all this, but I think for ones who are very interested about Battery 2030, they have a lot of information to process, and part of this information is related to solid-state battery, all value chain, starting from materials and until manufacturing. And it seems there is no any question to you, but I being host, I would like to ask just one. So what is for you main promise of solid-state batteries? Why should we work on this? So taking into account that we have a lot of young researchers here, so what is the main motivation to pursue solid-state batteries?
Well, first of all, why not solid state? So one thing that I didn't mention is the Battery 2030 Plus is agnostic in terms of chemistry. So solid state is as good as any. And what we have to look is what are the needs. So depending on the needs of the end user, of the market, etc., maybe battery, solid state battery will be a good promise. Of course, if we want high performance, it will be solid state batteries. But if we don't need high performance, what we need is to reduce cost. Maybe we don't have to look at them. But for instance, because the geopolitical context is driving our decisions, our lives, for defense application, solid state is really very, very promising. And if Europe wants to be sovereign, we have to continue to study and to do research on solid state batteries, because well, we cannot rely on others. So, but solid state is really promising for defense, and we should focus on it. But not only, I mean, could be another application, but just to mention a really strategic one, this could be one reason.
Okay, so thank you very much, Marina. It was a great pleasure to have you on this event. So if you will have possibility, maybe you can join after all speakers and for roundtable. And yeah, thank you again, and it was very wonderful presentation.